2004, North Dakota State and South Dakota State made the move to Division I. NDSU won 6 straight meetings in this series until SDSU came to Fargo and ended the streak, following it up with another victory in Brookings last year. The Jacks and the Bison meet for the Dakota marker next in the conference opener.
Get your horns out! Yeah, you can hear the herd coming, baby, like it or not. We've been waiting while tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down, the boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold your horns up high because it's Bison time.
Dates back to 1903 as South Dakota State and North Dakota State meet for the 108th time. Welcome to the Fargo Dome for this Dakota marker battle between the Bison and the Jackrabbits. Brian, Sean, and Lee Timmerman with you. And LT, there has been some memorable meetings between these two over the last 100 plus years, but in the last 15 years in particular, when these two teams and two programs made the move to Division I, when this Dakota marker trophy came up, I think the rivalry has grown even more.
It certainly has, and there was an incident in 2012 that if you know about it, you know about it, and I think that's what took this rivalry from friendly to a little bit more intense, and it's been intense since that point, and I think we'll have another intense one today.
I think it's maybe tough for us to decide how good these two football teams really are, and I think we're going to find out a lot today and learn a lot today about each of these programs, just because all of the opponents both teams have played, it's been lopsided.
Well, we thought last week for NDSU might have been one of those opportunities to get a little bit better taste of what the Bison could bring, but then the NDSU just torched Delaware, and that thing was over by the first quarter. And the Jackrabbits have only played 2 games because they had their first early game at Iowa State, lightninged out, and they haven't played anybody. In fact, scored 90 points the last time they played against a terrible Pine Bluff team. So you're right. I think both of these squads are trying to figure out how good they can be, and they'll have to do it against each other.
Well, not only is it a rivalry, it's also the conference opener and 2 top 5 teams. This really is the premier matchup in the FCS on this Saturday.
And I think we're seeing 2 of the premier quarterbacks as well, Easton Stick and Taryn Christian. Those 2 quarterbacks lead their respective offenses, and yeah, I don't think they're ranked number 1 and number 3 by accident.
South Dakota State won the toss. They deferred, so North Dakota State with the football first. Very similar to last week, and North Dakota State took it 75 yards on its opening possession for a touchdown. And it was all Bison after that, LT.
Yeah, the first defensive play, if you weren't with us last week, was Jabril Cox picking off an interception and a pick 6. So just like that, before Delaware could run even 2 offensive plays, they were down 14-0. So it was a super start by NDSU.
Well, actually, I see Peterson out, and it looks like the Bison are going to kick off. So the Jacks took the football. We initially thought a deferred motion from the Jacks, but the Jacks are going to take the football first here this afternoon. And this is what South Dakota State actually did last year. They wanted to try to put the pressure on NDSU early. As we take a look at Matt Entz, who he said he thought their defense last year, the Bison, maybe tried to do a little bit too much in game planning. They tried to simplify it a little bit this week. Yeah,
Coach Entz has a couple of things that will develop, but one of the things he does not think they will do this week is all-out blitz on every passing situation. So that will be something a little bit different for South Dakota State, because what have the Bison done on third down all year long? They have gone all out after the quarterback. A little bit of a twist here today against Taryn Christian's offense.
Time to kick off the game with a Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. The 15th battle for the Dakota marker is underway. Cade Johnson from his own goal line. Excuse me, that is Mikey Daniel taking the kickoff, and he is brought down by James Hendricks at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State defense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Caleb Butler, Blaine, Minnesota. Blake Williams, Romeo, Michigan.
Aaron Steidel, Carlos, Minnesota. Greg Menard, Lakeville, Minnesota.
Levi Jordan, Dickinson, North Dakota. Dan Marlette, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Jabril Cox, Kansas City, Missouri.
Jalen Allison, Papillion, Nebraska.
Rob Grimsley, Hutchinson, Minnesota.
James Hendricks, Bemidji, Minnesota.
Marquise Bridges, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
The crowd is alive and well here early. Handoff outside to Wilson. True freshman out of Florida, and Jabril Cox takes him down for a loss of 2. C.J. Wilson, that first carry, and a young man that is getting more and more carries as the season goes along. As we take a look at the South Dakota State offense, starting lineup brought to you by Shields. Taryn Christian off to a tremendous start. Anderson and Cade Johnson, the two wideouts. The Jacks have not thrown to their tight ends much here to start 2018. Daniel taken down after a loss or gain of 2 by Aaron Steidel, back up to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 upcoming.
Real good sideline to sideline movement on the first 2 running plays for NDSU against the Jackrabbits. The first one we saw Wilson not being able to turn the corner, and that time Aaron Steidel with terrific flow, a perfect run fit. He was able to slide down the line, be in position, no cutback, only gave up 2. Here's 3rd and long. Again, Coach Wentz did not think on 3rd and longs, at least early, that he would be doing a lot of blitzing.
Just like that, we see the Bison bring extra pressure, dumped off in the flat. Christian misfires. Jacob Brown, the intended target. 3 and out for South Dakota State.
It was a blitz, but it was a disguised blitz, showing pressure from the left-hand side, but that brings on a delayed blitz coming right at you. Jabril Cox using that speed, coming right at Taryn Christian. We know Christian has terrific feet. He is very elusive, but if the Bison can hit him a couple of times, I think that will be a major thing today. Christian, obviously, like most people, doesn't like contact.
Matt Entz, defensive coordinator for North Dakota State, telling us we want to rattle his cage early. Brady Hale, an excellent punter. High spiral down to Shepard, and he is hit immediately after taking that punt return. Nicely done that time by Preston Tretzlaff, linebacker sophomore from Brookings. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State offense, starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Easton Stick, Omaha, Nebraska.
Dylan Radens, Becker, Minnesota. Colin Connor, Mineral Point, Wisconsin. Tanner Volson, Belfort, North Dakota.
Luke Bacon, Granville, North Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Blaine, Minnesota.
Ben Ellefson, Hawley, Minnesota.
Brock Robbins, Cavalier, North Dakota.
Bruce Anderson, Tampa, Florida.
Dallas Freeman, St. Michael, Minnesota.
Darius Shepard, Blue Springs, Missouri.
Easton Stick out of the shotgun here on 1st down. Out to Shepard, a little bit low, but the reception is made at the 36-yard line. Gain of about 4. Look at Easton Stick. Tremendous game last week. Almost 250 passing yards in the first half alone against Delaware. He threw for 2 scores, passed for 2 scores.
You know, quarterbacks have stats that are all galore with quarterbacks, but Stick as a starter is 37 and 3. And 2 of those 3 have happened in this marker game the last 2 years in a row.
3 receivers to the high side of your screen here on 2nd and 6. Handoff goes inside. And Lance Dunn gains about 4 more, up to the 40, as we take a look at the South Dakota State defensive lineup. Starting lineup also brought to you by Shields. Man to watch in the middle, Christian Rosenbaum. Wants to be called Rosenbaum now, we've been told. Dalton Cox and Logan Backus, 3 guys that started last year, a lot of experience. The 2 guys to watch, LT, are probably the 2 interior defensive linemen. They are new this year in terms of playing this spot consistently.
A sophomore and a redshirt freshman. Krolikowski, 69-91, is Xavier Ward. Those 2 kids, the Bison think they can pick on those 2 kids on the interior, the defensive tackles.
Bison run the ball on 3rd and short, and Dunn did not get it. Brought down at the line of scrimmage, and the Jackrabbits come up with a stop on 3rd down, and a 3 and out for the Bison. Dalton Cox got in there. Helped make that tackle.
I thought I saw Manchikaya was around the ball as well. The safety, number 27, Brandon Schneider. All out coming down for SDSU to try to stop this running game. If the Bison can establish that running game, then some things in a play action may open up. But first, you must establish some success on the ground.
Garrett Wegner on for his first punt. Sends this one angling towards the sidelines. Takes a Bison hop. And falling on it there is Marshawn Harris at the 10-yard line. So well done by Wegner. Darren Christian, as we talked about, LT, has set 13 different school records already at South Dakota State. 9 touchdowns, no interceptions here to start 2018. A third-team preseason All-American, and was second-team All-Missouri Valley Conference last season. You can see the numbers. Also a threat to run as well. Dropping it off to Isaac Wallace, and there's room to run for Wallace, and he has a first down. Gain of 11 yards up to the 22-yard line before he's brought down. Robbi Grimsley making the stop.
You have to like the adjustment that Christian makes on this particular pass play because of where the pressure came from. It came from number 42 on the high side of your screen. So that's Cox coming in. Wallace is able to go right where Cox was. You dump it off, you pick up the first down. Good read by the quarterback.
Wallace squeaking through a hole, breaking through a couple of tackles, and then he's popped at the end of that play by Marquise Bridges, but 11 more yards up to the 32. Good enough for another Jackrabbit first down.
He was able to find a little yards in the cutback. You know that Insurance Company replay. Grimsley just misses, and that was the key there. Robbi Grimsley just could not quite get him within that 3-yard mark of the line of scrimmage, and it opened it up enough for the first down.
Christian fires to Anderson on target this time, and Anderson wrestled to the ground by Grimsley up to the 45-yard line. The Jackrabbits a little bit of momentum here as they pick up another first down.
Well, South Dakota State obviously knows of the perceived advantage maybe that North Dakota State has with its defensive line. So one of the things you do to beat any type of pressure from the guys with their hands on the turf is come out with the ball quickly. So Christian just turns to his right, fires on a quick little slant. Bison giving that slant.
Well, look at this, 4 receivers split out to the high side of your screen here on 1st and 10, including the tight end, Blake Coombs. Christian.
Now the question is if Menard got back before movement on the left side of the line.
Offside. Defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
There's the answer to the question.
So the ball brought up to midfield.
Now that 4 wideout formation, before Dallas Goddard came on the scene, South Dakota State was a lot of 4 wideout offense. A lot of 4 receiver offense. If you remember when Sumner was running things, there was a lot of that. Goddard changed it all. So to see the Jackson 4 wide, not crazy, just goes back a few years.
Play action, Christian, time in the pocket across the middle. Wide open man is Anderson. An explosive play for the Jackrabbits inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line before Grimsley makes another tackle.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. This will come right at you, and the key here is the depth of the drop. You see number 42, Cox, didn't quite get deep enough, found the hole, and number 15, Johnson, who just comes into the screen, he was running a vertical, took the safeties about 8 yards deeper than they probably wanted to be, but they have to honor that, opened up a hole, and Christian found it.
Again, 4 receivers to the high side, and Christian's going to run. Not much room. Runs into his own man and then hits the deck. Loses 2, back to the 21.
That is something the Jackrabbits have not done a lot of, and that's just a straight quarterback run. That was a play designed for Christian. He wasn't reading anything. He was just trying to make some movement. And the one thing he does a pretty good job of, once it's not there, he doesn't try to stretch the play. He gets down. Christian's very good at not exposing his body. He wants to be there to play the next play.
Hand off to Daniel, sidesteps one man and then met and dropped at about the 16-yard line, gain of 5, maybe 6 yards before Jordheim comes in to make the stop, the senior from Dickinson.
Well, we know Cade Johnson has great speed, but he also can block. Right there, 15, right came across your screen. You see that block right at the top there, takes care of Cox and is able to get that 5-yard advantage. But a really nice job by the slot receiver, the speed guy, Cade Johnson, making a block. 3rd and long.
3rd and 8 here for the Jacks. Christian stands in there, flushed out, and he escapes. Inside the 10 and then pushed out of bounds by Jordheim at the 5-yard line, and that's what makes Christian so difficult to defend. He gets enough for a 1st down.
This is his pattern, is to scramble to his throwing arm. Now that's to his right, but just because you know he's going to do it or have a tendency to do it doesn't mean that you're always in position to able to stop it. Taryn Christian looking left, nothing there, and now this part of the field, the boundary side opens up and he's able to pick up the 1st down. We've seen Christian on this drive make plays with both his arm and his feet. When he's doing that dual threat, he's very tough.
The officials getting together here and stopping play to discuss something.
I don't think it's a flag. I didn't see a flag anywhere, did you?
Nope.
Please set the game clock to 7:12. Play clock will be at 25 seconds. Game clock will start on my ready.
Matt Pakowski, your head referee for today's matchup against the Jackson Bison.
There we see the adjustment made, the 10-second runoff. Well, the Jackrabbits are already where not many teams have been this year against NDSU, into the deep part of the red zone.
Christian's going to keep it. Met in the hole. Heil pushes ahead to about the 2-yard line or the 3 before he is driven back. Greg Menard in there, Levi Jordheim, Dan Marlette.
Aaron Steidel. This is a read, but it looked more like a quarterback. He didn't look like he was going to hand off too much there, but anytime you get a chance to get a little bit of a bump or a hit on Christian, you take it. There's a guy who's played a really good football so far this year inside. Aaron Steidel.
Anderson, the only receiver. Daniel in the backfield with fullback Luke Sellers. Christian again. Kept his feet for a moment before he is eventually finished off and taken down by Jordheim. And Christian a little bit slow getting up. Looks like he's all right.
Obviously, you don't have much room down here to make a defensive decision. And you see James Hendricks went for it right away, was able to trip up Christian. Christian couldn't get his full momentum going before guys like Levi Jordheim helped bring him down.
Saw Derek Tuska fly in there and land on the top of Christian.
Safe to say this is a big play for both teams.
Christian quickly out in the flat, caught by Johnson, well executed on the block from Anderson. Touchdown, South Dakota State.
The timing of this is what is key. The block by Anderson, I think, was made after the catch was made. If the contact happens early, then it's an illegal pick. Catch, hit, touchdown. I think it happened simultaneously enough where you couldn't call the pick.
So South Dakota State strikes first. An impressive 90-yard drive capped off by a Taryn Christian to Cade Johnson 3-yard touchdown. And it's 7-0 South Dakota State on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Show your Bison pride today with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC. 7-0 South Dakota State. Taryn Christian, his 10th touchdown pass of the season goes to Cade Johnson. And Johnson with 4 touchdowns in the opening game, well, sort of the opening game against Montana State, after the cancellation against Iowa State earlier in the season. This one will be taken by Bruce Anderson at the 3. Anderson tripped up, flag comes in at about the 20-yard line.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 23. 10-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run. First down, North Dakota State.
That will back the Bison up to their own 11-yard line. We'll step aside. 5:20 to go in the first quarter. There's a look at Easton Stick. Numbers brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. 31 of 52, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions on the season for the senior out of Omaha. Delta formation, Easton Stick taking off with it and wrapped up after a gain of a couple. Austin Smenda coming up to make that tackle from his defensive end stop position.
Well, that's a key tackle there by Smenda because Stick looked like he had the wide side of the field open. Here it's coming. A good look at it, cuts right back in off the block of Connor. And if he's able to break that and get past Backus, there was some yards to be had.
He may still be running.
Quarterback run is a big element in the game plan today for North Dakota State.
Smenda, a sack and 4 tackles last year against North Dakota State. Play action. Stick rolls under pressure, airing it deep. Open man downfield, and it's tipped away at the final moment by Micaiah Slade. That ball hanging up there just long enough for the senior safety to come over and make the play.
Slade just saved a touchdown here because the Bison got what they wanted, an isolation one-on-one against the other safety, Brandon Schneider. Schneider was burned. His free safety bailed him out. If that gets through, it's a touchdown. Bison go vertical. Didn't quite get it.
Third and 7. Jacks bring a couple of extra men. Stick gonna air it out again. Dallas Freeman going for it. Jordan Brown in coverage. Incomplete, no flag.
We're going to see Freeman get an outside release. The best cover corner is Brown, and he shows you why. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Brown started his career with the Jackrabbits as a wide receiver. He was kind of caught on the scout team. One of the defensive coaches said, hey, you want to try defense? He said yes, and he has been very good on that side of the ball.
Garrett Wegner on for his second punt as the Bison offense goes 3 and out for the second straight time. This one not as deep. Harris makes the reception, and he is hit immediately by Bruce Anderson in on special teams.
Jabril Cox there as well.
Will step aside. The Jackrabbits good field position with a 7-0 lead. 4:13 to go in the first quarter. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank home loans are locally approved, financed, and serviced. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. 1st and 10, South Dakota State from its own 43. Johnson, motion. Inside handoff again. Keeping his feet moving and finding room to the outside is Isaac Wallace. Jackrabbits having some success in the running game here early inside Bison territory to the 47.
The Jacks offensive line is a line that will try and trick you, not necessarily be able to move you, but Papungatoa, number 51, I thought got a really good side push that time and allowed that gap to open up just a little bit, which is all that the Jacks needed to pick up another first down.
Christian, run pass option, going to take off with it. Slips out of a tackle from Grimsley, and Christian finally tripped up by Marquise Bridges after a gain of 9 or 10, and I think they're going to give him enough for a first down to about the 37-yard line of NDSU.
The key guy he made miss is what you mentioned, Grimsley. The safety on a long quarterback run, it's usually the safety that'll not make a tackle to allow it to happen. There's Christian behind Papungatoa, and Grimsley tries to stretch out, can't get there, and then he stretches this. Got a nice favorable spot, I think, but still, first down. On the ground, look at what the Jackrabbits are doing on the ground.
68 yards rushing already for SDSU. Play action this time, dumped off to Johnson. Another missed tackle from Grimsley, and Johnson down the sideline. Did he stay in bounds? I don't think so. Pushed out, stepped out at the 13 of NDSU. Eric Eisnes, offensive coordinator from South Dakota State, really mixing it up. Bison a little bit off balance here defensively.
This is a nice little twist, though. So far this year, you saw Johnson get a lot of jet sweeps, those little passes forward. Well, they faked it one way. They bring him back through and run kind of a quarterback, or excuse me, a wide receiver slot back wheel, if you want to call it that. So that's a little bit different look. And again, NDSU is not in the position to make the tackle. They're about a half step slow, and the Jackrabbits are making NDSU pay.
Christian somehow sneaks that into Anderson. Minimal gain of about 3 yards, perhaps 4 to the 10. Jabril Cox making that stop.
Anderson working one-on-one against Jalen Allison. Allison tries to get to the ball with his right hand. It sneaks through. Anderson with the catch, and then Cox will finish it off right at the 10.
And South Dakota State has had an extra week to get ready for NDSU, and so far so good for the Jacks. Christian. Screen again, little flanker screen, and this time dropped by Johnson. A little bit low on that delivery from Christian. Third down coming up.
Similar to the touchdown pass in that the key to the whole thing is a Jacob Brown block, trying to block, in this case, Jabril Cox. So the Bison put their most athletic defender out in space. He was able to beat that block. The pass did not connect as it did during the touchdown.
South Dakota State converted a couple of third downs in their previous drive. Jacks, an opportunity here. Christian across the middle, intercepted. Picked off with the play by Jalen Allison, and he's got blockers down the sideline. Allison still on his feet. Finally taken down by Jacob Brown at the 30-yard line, and North Dakota State comes up with a big red zone turnover.
Well, Taryn Christian does not make many mistakes, but that was a very poor ball back over the middle, and a really good job to maybe bait a little bit. You saw he's trying to hit the little bit of a slant there to Jacob Brown. Allison sniffs it out, and the Bison get what they needed, a stop.
The North Dakota State offense
needs to build on that now.
Only 6 plays in his first 2 drives. Ground game. Anderson up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 4. Krolakowski and Brandon Snyder there to make the tackle.
The whole key to trying to wear down those interior defensive linemen, if you can do that, move those guys, get those defensive linemen to go back a little bit, then you get into the tackling space and take away some of the angles that Rosaboom has and Cox has.
Anderson again. Again, it's Krolakowski standing up, slowing him down before help arrives. 3 more on that gain for Anderson, and another third down coming up for NDSU at about 3rd and 3.
I'd say it's pretty obvious that 3rd down is the reason why the score is where it is and why NDSU has been unable to get anything rolling offensively so far. The Bison have not been able to stay on the field.
Bison will spread it out a little bit here with 3 receivers on the bottom side of your screen. Stick to throw, going to air it out. Shepard in one-on-one coverage makes the reception. Logan Backus, the linebacker, on coverage. The Bison finally get one of those explosive plays inside the Jackrabbit 30.
If you go back to last possession, NDSU took 2 shots. They did not capitalize on those, but it gives you the mindset of what the Bison are thinking today. Verticals. You try to go deep downfield, and that's an isolation against the linebacker. You'll take it every time.
That'll take us to the end of the first quarter. A quarter that was largely controlled by South Dakota State, but the Bison, good field position. 1st and 10 when we come back. 7-0 South Dakota State. NDSU 1st and 10 at the Jackrabbit 28-yard line. After Darius Shepard makes a 34-yard reception on 3rd and 3. Stick going for it all again. This time to Freeman, who has it broken up at the last moment by Marshawn Harris, who was singled up on the outside.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. This one coming right at you. Here's the battle. Freeman is able to get the ball to come all the way through to him, but he couldn't corral it. Harris, who was suspended and did not play in the game 2 weeks ago, started in the playoffs last year for the Jackrabbits. I don't know if, I guess he was in position, but he didn't do much to make the play, but he did just enough. But again, the Bison taking cracks downfield.
Lance Dunn back in at tailback. Play action for Stick. Gonna take off and run with it. Why not? Brock Robbins using him as a lead blocker, and Stick picks up about 6 yards to the 24.
There was only one man in that pattern, and that was Dimitri Williams, who was playing for the first time this year. He was guarded on the deep outside. Stick started looking around, and there was nobody else. I thought the pre-snap movement from the Jackrabbits was interesting on that play, Brian. When NDSU traded the tight ends to the other side, the Jackrabbits just slid over. They did not swap personnel, so that's something that the Bison offensive coaches will certainly look at.
Stick to throw again. Hangs in there across the middle. Reception is made, and it is a touchdown. Darius Shepard. Flag back at the 15.
The flag is pass interference, so I think the touchdown is going to stand. I thought there was some bumping. I thought it was Backus that got into the receiver a little bit. That's what I saw. Let's see if I'm right. Shepard did a nice job of fighting into the end zone, though.
Wow. Big call there.
They called pass interference, I thought, on a tight end, didn't they? Did he say 81?
That would be Babbage, if that's who indeed it was called on. I did not see it.
Or if they're saying that it was on Shepard.
And there was Nate Jensen out there.
85, but no, maybe they're saying it was on Shepard, the man who made the catch.
So that takes a touchdown off the board. And instead, NDSU is backed up with a 3rd and 21. Wow. Stick will hang in there again. Now flushed out. Steps out of it. Will get what he can. Stick around a couple of men. Look at the move by Easton Stick. Stick will get a first down. Wow. How about a play for the senior from Omaha? Using his legs to gain 22.
That's why both the quarterbacks in this game are so tough to defend. They are multi-dimensional. Stick, you can tell, was just wanting to get that first down. He did a terrific run. Massive play for NDSU right there. Check out this scramble. Nothing open, nothing open. Stick surveying the field. He runs right out of a tackle from Smenda in the backfield.
Boy, look at the move he put on that DB. Was that Harris?
It was, but I also think Lance Dunn got in the way deep downfield too to help out.
Play action. Wide open man is Ben Ellison. Touchdown. That was big time from number 12.
And
wow.
The big plays in this drive was when NDSU was able to isolate some linebackers. Shepard's long pass was on Backus. It looked like Rosaboom was out of position. He needs to try to guard. Yeah, they both were. The safety Slade played run. So did Rosaboom, the linebacker. And Elfson is able to get the first touchdown on the board.
Well, NDSU overcoming some adversity. A 3rd and 21 converted on a 22-yard scramble from Stick. The very next play, the senior quarterback connecting with Ben Ellison, 17 yards. And we're tied up at 7, 13-14 to go on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Buying, building, or refinancing? Start with a Gate City Bank Blue Standard pre-approval and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We're all tied at 7. NDSU taking advantage of the Jalen Allison interception and turning it into a touchdown. Mikey Daniel from his own 1. Oh, how about that play on special teams? Jackson Brown fighting through a block and taking down Daniel. South Dakota State backed up to its own 15. Let's go downstairs to Ryan Gellner, the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Hey, Ryan.
Hi, guys. It is absolutely deafening down here on the field. This crowd's so loud, they're actually wreaking havoc on the Bison defense. The Bison have a play call in. They will change the call defensively, but players saying that call isn't getting relayed across the entire team. So while some guys are switching assignments, other Bison defenders are not, and that has been the miscommunication so far on defense. We'll see if the guys have it fixed.
Ryan, your first International Bank and Trust sideline report. Handoff this time, no room. Bison stack it up. Good penetration on the play. Coming in initially there was, I believe, Blake Williams from his defensive tackle position. That's a loss of 2.
Also, Caleb Butler sealed the outside on that real well.
Let's take a look at your Bobcat scoring recap. North Dakota State taking advantage of that turnover. Couple of big plays, of course, the 34-yard reception from Shepard. 7 plays, 69 yards, and 3:16 as Ben Ellison makes his 2nd touchdown reception of the season.
And obviously the 3rd and long stick run on that touchdown drive as well.
Christian hanging in there, dropping it off to Callan Hart. He is drilled by Jabril Cox after a gain of 4.
Jackrabbits started with kind of a 2-headed monster to try to replace Goddard. Hart was more or less the blocking tight end, and the young kid behind him, Kuntz, was the catching tight end. But now Hart is starting to get involved a little bit more in the passing game. But the speed and the closing ability of number 42, I tell you, Hart had no chance to turn that up and make anything because Jabril Cox was right in his face.
3rd and 8. Dropped off. Oh, well played by NDSU. Robbi Grimsley making the tackle on Anderson. That will be well short of a first down, and the Bison defense comes up with a stop.
If you saw some of this, goes back to what Ryan was talking about, some of the unable to get the signals across for the Bison defense. But on that possession, you could really see Dan Marlette animated pre-snap, going in down to his linemen, yelling at them, this is the call, this is the check. So it looks like, anyway, that Marlette is going to be the key guy to try to get the signal into the defense.
Brady Hale out to punt it again. Short. So we'll take a hop and a South Dakota State hop to the 30-yard line, down to the 29, before it rolls to a stop, and that's where the Bison offense will have it.
Let's revisit the touchdown and why it was so successful. Because the guy right here is Slade and Rosaboom, the linebacker, are not watching, Ben Ellefson over here. These guys are playing run. We'll roll it. You'll see Ellefson slide off and get wide open because Slade's thinking run. The Bison go to the pass. And NDSU has their first touchdown, and Ben Ellefson, speaking of tight ends becoming more involved in the passing game, he has been this year.
Stick to throw it again. This time is flushed out of the pocket. And we'll throw it away. Chased out of.
Determination on what goes on with that play, and he was able to beat Rosaboom to the outside.
Play action again. Stick can run for it if he can get there. Now he's going to take off and will step out of bounds at the 40 and pick up what he needs for a first down. Looked like initially a couple of men open.
But it's the guy you don't think will be open, and that's the deep drag. The late guy over the middle of the field was Bruce Anderson. He was wide open. Easton just didn't have enough time to set up and get it to him.
Let's take a look at your fun fact brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council. Did you know biodiesel made from soybeans reduces greenhouse gas emissions by more than 50% compared to petroleum diesel? That is your fun fact brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council. Bruce Anderson met in the hole, pushed back. Manchagaya, Snyder, both there after a gain of 3. And you alluded to this a lot early, LT, but the safeties get very active defending the run for South Dakota State.
Well, there's 3. Well, no, there's only 2 back in there because Slade is gone. The knock on Slade is that his routes to the ball have been really poor. So then Manchagaya, who is also a strong safety, Schneider, who just moved out, is a strong safety. So in running situations, it looks like the Jacks are going to 2 strong safeties. Now Slade is back in there. He's the guy guarding the slot.
Stick flushed again. And again, using his feet to get out of trouble and pick up a first down inside Jackrabbit territory to the 49.
What Taryn Christian did 2 years ago to the Bison here in this building is exactly what Easton Stick is doing right now. He was feeling pressure. This is what a veteran does. He doesn't necessarily see it. You see the blitz, that's 7 coming from the outside. That's not just his number, it's his first name as well. But Stick is able to feel that. The pocket's starting to collapse a little bit, and because of his feet, he's able to pick up a first down. The Bison first down in the first quarter, poor. Right now, they're on a pretty good roll.
Stick out to Ellefson, got a good block from Babbage, and Ben Ellefson ran over Manchagaya and picks up a first down to the 38.
This is a little tight end wrinkle to what the Jackrabbits did with Johnson. Similar to that, you bring him back behind the line of scrimmage, but across or away from the flow of the play. And you know Big Ben wants to put a hit on someone, and he did. Manchagaya made the tackle, but the Bison made him pay for it.
2 receptions, 29 yards for the junior out of Hawley. Dunn taken down in the hole that time by Eric Kleinschmidt after a gain of about 3.
Kleinschmidt's a veteran. He actually, coming into this game through the 2 contests that the Jacks have played, leads the team in tackles. He's not their best player. That's Rosaboom, but Kleinschmidt getting a... You knew he would play. Right now he's in, I think, for Cox, but just Coach Stig using the some of the depth that he has. You have to try to keep players fresh.
Shepard and Christian Watson, the two receivers to the bottom side of your screen. Delayed handoff again, and there's room this time for Ty Brooks. First carry for Brooks. Dalton Cox getting in on that tackle. Close to a first down, maybe about a half-yard short.
12 personnel, one back, two tight ends, and the guy coming right across the front of that screen, making the block there is Nate Jensen, the tight end, kind of playing the role of a pulling guard, trying to get an outside play going from the Bison. That's a little bit of a different look. That's something that I don't recall the Bison doing much of this year. So right now it appears like NDSU is trying to throw some new stuff at the Jackrabbits that they have not seen on tape.
Play clock is down to 4. Stick gets it off. Anderson met in the hole. I don't think he got it. May have actually lost a yard back to the 30-yard line. So now decision time for Chris Kleiman.
Well, we're looking
like
at
Cam Peterson is coming out.
We're looking at Dalton Cox, number 53, first man there. First man there did his job. He stayed squared to the running back and stopped Anderson in his tracks.
So a 47-yard attempt straight away, right in the middle of the field here for the senior from Eau Claire.
The punter Wagner's the holder.
A little bit high. It is up. It is no good. Wide left. So North Dakota State misses an opportunity to grab the lead, and the Jackrabbit defense comes up with a hold. We're still tied at 7. 5:32 to go in the second quarter. Show your Bison pride today with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, 40 better way of life, member FDIC. Taryn Christian drilled by Greg Menard. Clean shot for number 96 and a loss of 4.
This is a beauty shot if you're a defensive end, because I think he gets up underneath the flak jacket. Watch it on your Nodak Insurance Company replay. Nope, he just pounds him down. Really good hit. Menard unchecked. That shows you the speed that Menard can come off the line. He got in the backfield faster, or about as fast as Christian was able to try to make the read on the handoff. Wow, how can you not block that guy?
Christian again, dropping it off for Luke Sellers. Off target again, Menard putting on pressure as Christian goes down. 3rd and long coming up for the Jacks.
That's why it was off target, because Menard was on the ankles, down around the feet, lower body of Christian when he was trying to throw the ball. Here's Menard once again flying in there, making a dive. Christian just trying to save himself. Again, Taryn Christian, if you can bump him a little bit, he does not like contact. Again, most quarterbacks don't. Carson Wentz is an exception to that rule. But if you can pound him a few times, you'll get passes like that off target.
Bison rush 4. Christian airing it out into coverage, and he overshoots Cade Johnson. The Bison had a well-defended James Hendricks was there, along with Dan Marlette, and that is the second straight 3 and out for South Dakota State.
I think the couple of Menard pressures also got that ball on that pass out of Christian's hands a little bit quicker than he would want to. He did not have an opportunity to get much air underneath it, so it's really difficult to pinpoint pass 40 yards downfield on a direct line if you don't give your receiver an opportunity to try to adjust to that ball. It was out of his hands quick.
Hale, a wobbler. Boy, that was a dangerous return effort there for Darius Shepard, but he makes it, and the Bison have good field possession at their own 44 when we come back. .433 to go here in the first half. North Dakota State starting this drive at its own 44-yard line, tied at 7. Desmond Kane motioning to the bottom side of your screen. Still plenty of time on the play clock as Stick gives it a look. Stretch play to the outside. Great lead block. You see the speed of Ty Brooks. Brandon Snyder makes the tackle, but 15 yards on that run for Brooks.
But Des Kane going in motion all the way across this formation, slides the defense to its left a little bit, allowing Slade again to be a little bit out of position. You see 27 Snyder having to come back from the field side safety to make the tackle. After Des Kane set up, there was plenty of time for Stick to make his read and then get the play called he wanted.
Stick across the middle. Shepard wide open at the 20. Darius Shepard. Touchdown, 41 yards.
I want you to go back in your memory bank when NDSU played at Iowa. There was a guy by the name of Brandon Snyder playing safety for Iowa. That's Brandon Snyder, who just got torched on this particular play. The Bison felt if they could get one-on-one or isolate Snyder today, they could beat Snyder just like they did 2 years ago at Iowa, like they're doing today for that go-ahead touchdown.
Peterson adds the extra point, and just like that, North Dakota State quickly jumps ahead 14-7, 3:51 to go. The Bison starting to rack up the yardage a bit now. Just about 200 yards of total offense here in the first half.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. 27's the guy we're talking about. There's the great little look to his right. That's he, meaning Shepard, looks to his right, gets Schneider to think or hedge a little bit to the near side of the field, breaks it off with a post wide open over the middle. A play designed to pick on Schneider. Again, this is a kid that started in the Big Ten. He knows how to play football, but the Bison know where their advantage is. They directed it at Schneider, they picked on him, and they just burned him.
His younger brother Jaden is actually on the team, and that's part of the reason he ended up here. He had a lot of knee injuries last year, actually tore it up. After in the Illinois game, he returned an interception for a touchdown, tore a knee. Things just didn't work out, so here he is playing his final seasons of eligibility with the Jacks.
And Schneider didn't show up in the Jacks camp until just a couple of days before fall camp started, so that's how late. He's a graduated player, so it was a graduated senior transfer rule, which is why he could make that. But yeah, it happened late for him.
Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Kind of a liner as C.J. Wilson takes it on a hop at the 1. Wilson through one arm tackle, and then Jalen Wimbush and Dimitri Williams make the tackle at the 25-yard line.
Let's go back to the play that defined the last possession defensively for NDSU. That's this guy right here, not been able to touch the speed right there of Mr. Menard. As we roll this, you will see that the tackle just blew right past him. There was no way Greenway got his feet in position at all. That hard hit set up the next two plays where Christian was off. So Greg Menard with a good whack on Christian helped set the tone for the Bison to get the ball back and then score quickly after that.
The Jacks with those back-to-back drives, one that ended in an interception, and now a flag comes out.
Prior to the expiration of the play clock, with timeout, South Dakota State. The 30-second timeout. It's the first timeout of the half.
Let's take a look at the Bobcats game recap, or the scoring recap for South Dakota State. 2 plays, 56 yards. The Ty Brooks 15-yard scamper, and then the 41-yard reception by Darius Shepard. He was having a big first half. 3 receptions, 79 yards, and that score. Let's go to Ryan Gellner for a look around the Missouri Valley.
Hi guys, a couple of interesting score in today's Missouri Valley. Missouri State is up 10-0 on Illinois State. After Illinois State punted 4 times and missed a field goal, they're back to last year's quarterback, Jake Colby, to try to rally. That score is at the half, and Western Illinois out to a 6-0 home lead over Youngstown State, that game in the first quarter.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Taryn Christian has a little time now. Flush, stepping up across the middle and overshooting Anderson, who was open in the middle of the field.
I'm surprised. And I'm surprised because you don't see Christian whiff too many times on this. He senses the pressure. Here it comes from the outside, from Jabril Cox. He knows he has to step up, and he just airmails it. A little bit of pressure. Took Christian's timing off just a little bit, but he will tell you that's a throw that he should make.
Bison bringing extra pressure this time. Anderson went up to try to make the catch, and he did. Pretty good coverage by Jalen Allison, short of a first down by a yard to the 34. Clock continues to move, 3.5 left in the first half.
Bison showed pressure and then dropped back off of it. Levi Jordheim looked like he was going to come, but then he settled down and took care of the, I believe it was the near side tight end on that play.
Well, that was a great catch by Anderson. 3rd and 1. Daniel in the backfield with Christian. Christian across the middle, and it is dropped by Cade Johnson, who may have had a touchdown had he caught it.
If he catches the ball, you do not catch him. Cade Johnson has great speed.
James
and he
Hendricks
just left 6 points on the table.
James Hendricks was burned on this play.
Well, part of that has to do with the run-heavy formation, too, on that 3rd and short, because Robbi Grimsley started that play in the box, so there was no second safety back. Grimsley's back now, I think, to try and grab the punt.
Brady Hale, another punt. Grimsley coming in to make the catch, and the fair catch at the 30-yard line. And North Dakota State,
A lot of time.
with 2:54 and 3 timeouts, has an opportunity here to tack onto this lead.
It's crazy how much of that the situation changes on the one drop ball there, because the Jacks think we have a lot of time. We're going to take a shot downfield. We got a chance to put some points on the board. We're going to tie this thing up before halftime. It doesn't happen.
And Chris Kleiman telling Robbi Grimsley right there, LT, hey, we got to make sure that number 15 isn't turned loose.
Now he started in. He had a read run. He was down in the box, but that catch changes everything. Now the Bison are thinking, we got plenty of time. We got almost 3 minutes. We're going to score.
Anderson to the outside. Boy, great blocking downfield. And Bruce loose. Picking up about 17 on that carry. Out of bounds at the 47.
Dylan Radens is the offensive lineman of the week. Give him an attaboy. He takes care of Ryan Arith on the far side, on the 5 sideline, pancakes him, and Anderson's able to pop it back outside. Also, what I really like on that play is the athletic ability of 74 Tanner Volson. Volson snaps it and is able to pull to the outside to have that lead blocker. Almost a power look from the outside, but instead of pulling a guard, you're pulling a center.
Stick play action. He's going to air it out again. Shepard open, and this time it's Stick misfiring as he was hit at the end of that play by Dalton Cox.
Now, Stick knew he was going to take a shot, and it came from number 53, Cox. He steps into the throw, makes a solid throw, but just misses Shepard, who's trying to, again, go isolation. That was a blast. Man, did he get hit on that play. But there's no loud roar, so Easton, with his back on the turf, knows that the pass he just threw did not connect. But over the middle of the field, the Bison, that's where they went again with that pass play.
And Shepard was wide open once again. Stick running out of time, and he's buried from behind by Ryan Arith. First sack of the day, and the first sack given up by NDSU this season.
Ryan Arith had all 5 of his sacks last year in the second half of the year. Nodak Insurance Company replay. He's one-on-one with Radens. Radens was unable to keep his feet under him. Got his momentum going the other direction. Arith is able to cut back underneath it. He really came on in the second half last year for SDSU.
Play clock now down to 5. Stick does get it off in time. Inside handoff to Lance Dunn. Bison playing it conservatively here with the field position. John Stiglmeyer calls the Jackrabbits' second timeout with 1:23 left. Crockett Krolakowski coming in to make that tackle for the Jacks. Well, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, it's always funny how sometimes those two schools are connected, and they are not only connected here today, but they're connected in Philadelphia. Carson Wentz and Dallas Goddard are now teammates. Wentz, a pick of the Eagles 2 or 3 years ago. Goddard just this past year. And when asked about if anything was on the line for a potential wager with his current teammate Goddard, here's what Wentz had to say.
Yeah, we'll have a friendly wager. I'm sure you guys will see about it when he's wearing something NDSU next week after we take the Dakota marker from him.
Well, there you go, Carson. Confident as this punt is booted and out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Great job by Garrett Wegner, pinning the Jacks deep with 1:15 to go.
Thing hit at about the 4, took a direct left out at the 2. But you just never know what's going to happen with a football when it hits the turf, and that time he got a perfect little cut the ball anyway to go left.
Let's go down to Ryan Gellner.
Guys, Darius Shepard, for the second time in 2 games, is headed back to the locker room with team trainers. No word on what the injury is yet, but number 20 has left the field for the Bison.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Hopefully nothing serious for him. Daniel cannot quite sneak away as there you see Shepard heading to the locker room.
Blake Williams, number 69, was in on that tackle. Mikey Daniel last year was kind of the third down guy. Now he's more of a 50-50 guy. He's sharing a lot of the carries with Isaac Wallace.
And North Dakota State may be calling a timeout here as the Bison have a possibility of potentially getting good field position here if they can come up with a stop. And South Dakota State does not have a first down in its last 3 drives.
That interception that Christian threw in the end zone that Allison picked off, that was kind of the game changer, because NDSU was able to capitalize and get the tying touchdown after that particular play. Obviously, there were some nice plays offensively, but that was the play, that quick change that certainly changed things for that man's team.
Yeah, Christian has really slowed down after those 2 impressive drives. 9 of 16, 102 yards, a touchdown and the pick. Inside handoff again, Marlette there, along with Cole Karch. NDSU will call it second timeout, 3rd and 7 coming up.
The Bison were certainly convinced that a run play was coming there, because you saw both safeties and the 3 linebackers all crawl down into the box pre-snap. Marlette is there. You see Grimsley also battling. Bison certainly doing their best right now to try to get that ball back here in the first half.
This is a game of momentum, LT, and that interception, as you alluded to, that completely changed the momentum of the game. South Dakota State offensively has not really been the same since that play.
No, the Jacks feeling at that point of the game, feeling pretty good. They're thinking we're going to score here, go up by 2 touchdowns in the Fargo Dome. But that certainly did not happen. And then the answer, the ability to answer, and that long run by Easton Stick on that 3rd and very, very long to pick up the first down was the key play, I felt, of that offensive drive as well.
Well, how aggressive does South Dakota State get here? Backed up inside its own 10, 3rd and 7. Christian will throw it. Time across the middle, and Johnson juggled it and then caught it as Jabril Cox makes the tackle. Big 3rd down conversion, and Johnson with an explosive play out to the 42.
We're going to isolate on Jabril Cox. as Johnson is able to get just inside of him, and that was a beautifully thrown ball. A little bit of juggle at the end from Johnson, but he pulls it down. First down for SDSU.
Christian to Anderson. Jalen Allison makes that tackle after a short gain. About 3, maybe 4 yards. South Dakota State will continue to hurry it up. One timeout for the Jacks. Christian buried. Getting there first was Blake Williams.
That's what NDSU was hoping it could accomplish today. 4-man pressure, 4 down linemen. You're not blitzing, you're max coverage. You're still able to get pressure. Keep number 3 inside the pocket. No chance to get out of there. You saw Christian try not to force anything downfield. He saw a 6 and a 9 coming right back at him. Blake Williams right up the gut, getting the sack.
Christian to Johnson. Had a huge play on 3rd down. Wasn't bad coverage by Cox, but well thrown by the senior quarterback.
Extraordinarily well thrown. I thought Cox had decent position along the hash mark. There was still a safety deep. Christian was able to sling that baby right down the hash and hit his number 1 receiver in stride on that 3rd down play. Coach Stiglmeyer and his crew stayed aggressive on that 3rd down. You asked the question before the snap, how aggressive is SDSU going to be here? I thought if nothing else, the Jacks might hand it off and make at least NDSU burn its last time out. That didn't happen. And now it's 3rd and long again, but funny how the course of 30-some seconds, how much that changes. 3 down for the Bison.
Christian is going to take off and run. Jabril Cox takes him down after a pickup of about 10 yards to midfield. 4th down coming up for SDSU. Maybe this situation, if you're SDSU, snap it.
You don't have to.
If you want to take a shot here to end the half.
Last play of the half, I don't know why you wouldn't, but you have 4 seconds. It'll be the last play.
I don't know. The Jacks are kind of all looking at each other, and that's going to be it.
Huh. I thought you'd take at least one more shot. I guess not.
So NDSU, after falling behind 7-0 here at home.
Now hold on. There's the White Hats out there, and we're whistling people to come back, and maybe someone did call a timeout. I'm not sure.
Well, South Dakota State did not have any to use.
Prior to the expiration of the game clock, timeout, North Dakota State. We have 30-second timeout. Please set the game clock to 4 seconds. Thank you.
I'm curious why North Dakota State would take a timeout there.
The only thing I can think of initially is that Coach Kleiman wants every opportunity for his team to make a big play.
Or maybe he was worried the Jacks would snap the ball and his defense wasn't ready. That's the other possibility as well.
If you're going to let it expire and you walk off, do you just grab the knee and walk off anyway here if you're South Dakota State, or do you take the shot? I'm aggressive. I say you heave it downfield and see what happens, but.
Well, NDSU has all sorts of defensive backs in the game. Jalen Wimbush, Marquise Bridges, Jalen Allison, Robbi Grimsley. Jabril Cox is way back at the 20-yard line.
You see the 3 wide receivers to the top. Take a shot.
Bison will actually blitz. Christian stepping up. He's going to heave it. It's not going to reach the end zone, and it is dropped by Cox. It doesn't matter. That will take us to the end of the first half. North Dakota State leading 14-7. Ryan Gellner is standing by with Chris Kleiman.
Chris, you were backed up early, got the big interception, kept you in this football game, and all of a sudden your offense took off.
Yeah, no, it's a good football game. It's going to be a 4-quarter game, and 2 really good teams going at it. We got to make some adjustments and keep playing hard.
We'll let you go make those adjustments. Guys, that's Chris Kleiman. Back up to you.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. Yeah, fun first half. South Dakota State, quick out of the gates. But NDSU settled in.
But they settled in, I think, defensively and able to establish a few things physically against South Dakota State that certainly made a huge difference in that second quarter.
The Proceed halftime report is coming up next. Alex Egan and Beth Wooler standing by in studio. We'll see in about 20 minutes here at the Dome. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome. Just a few moments away from kicking off the second half action between the Bison and the Jackrabbits. 14-7, North Dakota State leads it. Brian Shawn, Lee Timmerman back with you. Ryan Gellner is on the sidelines, and he had a chance to get an update on South Dakota State at the half.
He made some nice adjustments. He said we have a few more things to clean up. Other than that, he said, I like what I see. So it's adjustments for him. They made some on the fly, which they were happy with, and they need to make some more. So, okay, thank you. No, I knew there wouldn't be. These guys are pretty much.
Ryan is up and doesn't realize it, so we will try to catch up with him in a couple of moments.
It certainly was a tale of two quarters, without a doubt, in that first half. NDSU came alive in the second quarter. Both teams had 9 first downs. The Jacks with 8 of them in the first quarter. NDSU with 8 of their 9 in the second quarter. The Bison come up with 158 offensive yards in that second quarter, but some good plays on both sides from NDSU's offense and defense. And then the way that first half goes, it might be the team that makes the play. Yeah. Like Johnson has a touchdown that he drops. That type of thing. Who makes the critical play? Or who doesn't?
Well, and that's just it. You look at South Dakota State looking like they're going to go up 14-0, and all of a sudden an interception from Jalen Allison, and the momentum just shifts from quarter to quarter. Let's now go to Ryan Gellner on the sidelines.
Guys from South Dakota State side, they really want to get after the quarterback. They didn't think they got enough pressure on Easton Stick. Look for them to bring more pressure and make a concerted effort to legally hit the quarterback this half, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. Appreciate it.
I think we did find out that one situation when Cox was just hammering down on Easton Stick. And we knew this anyway, but we know that Stick could take a hit because he got blasted on that one pass play trying to get it back over the middle.
South Dakota State won the toss and elected to receive, so NDSU will have the football first here in the second half. Darius Shepard, we saw him come off the field late in that first half. He is back on the sidelines and appears ready to roll. So Chase Vinatieri will boot it away.
Of course, Shep had 3 catches, the 41-yard play, and also a touchdown.
South Dakota State, 48 first half yards on the ground, 21 of those from Taryn Christian. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Dimitri Williams will take it this time, 2 yards deep. Excuse me, it's Bruce Anderson back there. And Bruce is tripped up at the 17-yard line by Jarek Berg, a sophomore safety out of Wisconsin.
I know we have the fair catch rule, and also if you can bring it back out to the 25 if you stay in the end zone. But Coach Kleiman said early this year he wants to be very aggressive with his returners, give them a chance to make a play.
Let's take a look at your numbers on Easton Stick, brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. 5 of 10, 107 yards, of course 41 on that pass play to Shepard with the 2 touchdowns. He's also run for 43 yards on 7 carries, including a huge 22-yard scamper on 3rd and 21. Anderson gets the carry this time, gains 4 up to the 20-yard line before he is taken down by Xavier Ward.
In those 3 completions in that second quarter, Stick averaged 23 yards a completion. So NDSU's with their concept or their idea of getting downfield, getting vertical. At first it didn't work, then it started to happen.
Second and 6. Stick's going to keep it up the middle. Dalton Cox and Krolakowski hit him, and the ball is loose.
Yeah, ball's out.
South Dakota State saying they got it. No signal from the officials yet.
This goes back to grade school football. Kill the carrier at the bottom of the pile. Who comes away with it?
We got guys from both sides pointing one way or the other. We'll see. Boy, it's taken a long time to get off the pile here. Tanner Volson is down there.
I think it was Dalton Cox, the one that got the ball loose.
And it looks like Volson may have been the one that recovered.
The Ward's at the bottom of that pile. Umpire doesn't have his hat, but Tanner Volson has the ball, and for NDSU, that's the big thing. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Watch 53. He's going to come in. Oh, no, it's out beforehand. It was the hit in front of it. I thought Cox knocked it out.
Krolikowski.
But it was 69. Crockett Krolikowski, the redshirt freshman from Winter, South Dakota, that just got the ball out of there, but Bison still have it on third.
3rd and 2 for NDSU. This time, give on the end around. And Anderson lunges ahead to the 26 before Kleinship makes the tackle, but that should be enough for a first down.
On the carry, that's another Bison.
Let's go to Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, just revisiting the keys to the football game. Number one we had was execution. North Dakota State has done pretty well since those first couple of possessions. 2 is special teams. The Bison have really pinned the Jackrabbits back when they've had the opportunity, especially punting. And number 3 was win the lines. I think that one is yet to be decided. We'll figure that out, guys, in the second half.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Stick to throw again. Shepard open. Another crossing route. Eludes Rosenbaum, and then Backus takes him down after a gain of 11 up to the 38.
Jackrabbits Jordan Brown gives him the free release, goes to the flat to cover something in his zone, and then you saw Shepard able to work across the zone, get in front of Manshigaya, make the catch. He tried to bounce it for a big play, but he already knew he had the first down.
Phoenix Sproles into the game. Number 11 on the high side of your screen.
I have not seen Brandon Schneider in defensively for the Jacks lately either.
Handoff going outside. Lance Dunn picking up a couple to the 40. Austin Smenda over there to help make that tackle.
And you have to, it's just like the Jacks when they run that jet type motion to Johnson. You have to hustle down the line so hard like Smenda did to not allow Anderson and able to square that up and get headed upfield. So good job by the guy who has his, he's the defensive end, hand down, Smenda the junior.
Shepard motioning to the high side of your screen. Stick to throw again. And again it's Shepard on the crossing route. It was unable to haul that one in. Juggled it. He was open, but incomplete. 3rd and 8 coming up. Let's go to Ryan Gellner.
Guys, for the second week in a row, Desmond Kane has come to the sideline with an apparent shoulder injury. Last week, they were able to pop his shoulder back into place. This week, guys, it looks more painful. It looks more serious. He has not left the bench. Phoenix Sproles has taken his place. We'll update you as we can.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Again, Kane had a breakout game last week against Delaware. 4 receptions, 89 yards. Senior transfer from Illinois. 3rd and 8 coming up. NDSU 4 of 8 on 3rd down today, and a flag comes out.
Smenda jumps across, but the key motion there too is you see Zach Johnson gets out of his three-point stance and points. So that puts it on the defense because he was the first to move.
Offside. Defense, number 34. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 3rd down.
So a much more manageable 3rd down here. Now 3rd and 3 at the 45. And there's a look at Kane, who's in certain pain here. Dr. Bruce Pyatt, team doctor for NDSU, taking a look.
Left shoulder. And Sproles is the high side guy who Ryan mentioned is in there for Kane.
Anderson motions again, and he gets the carry again. Boy, great cut block from Lance Dunn, and Bruce carries a tackler to the 44-yard line of South Dakota State. Micaiah Slade making the stop. Lance Dunn upending somebody.
But it's within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's the key part of it. You can't cut downfield or beyond that 5 yards. It was about 3 yards ahead. Dunn sends Smenda head over heels, and Anderson sends a fresh set of downs to NDSU's way.
Dunn bouncing it out, gets around Harris, Finally pushed out of bounds by Brandon Snyder, close to another first down, and I think he's got it to the 34.
It might not sound like a bunch, but pre-snap movement has caused SDSU to shift to its left about one step. So back into the boundary, that's one step further that the defense has to go, and there was just a little bit out of position. Harris wasn't in position. Schneider, who is back in the game, was a little bit slow from his safety spot to get over there. So that little shift causes the defense to move by a step and enough space for the Bison to be able to take it outside.
There's Dimitri Williams as Dunn gets the carry again, and the Jackrabbits ready for it this time. Picks up a yard to the 33. Dalton Cox looked like he was in there to make the tackle.
I will say I think South Dakota State today, Brian, has hung in there a little bit better than I thought the Jacks might be able to in a simple man-on-man, we're going to physically move you situation. I thought the Bison offensive line would be able to have, to this point, a little bit better just initial push against that D line, but straight on so far, the Jacks are holding up.
10th play of this drive for NDSU. Stick throwing back across the grain, looking for Nate Jensen, and out of the reach of his big tight end, Logan Backus. Back there to make sure that was not caught. And a 3rd and long coming up here for NDSU.
To me, it looked like there were a couple of options on that play. Jensen didn't release deep because I think the first look was to be back in the flat and kind of a little bit of a running back screen situation over to Lance Dunn, but Stick looked off to his left, didn't really like what he saw there, so he tried to take the hitter.
Bison spread it out. Ben Ellefson is the tight end with 4 receivers. Jack showing some pressure. Stick rolls. Caught. Oh, no, it was caught by Jordan Brown, a little bit behind his receiver, Sproles. And a turnover inside Jackrabbit territory.
Well, in the first half, we talked about Brown being recruited as a wide receiver, so he has some ball skills, and here he makes a nice adjustment on this play, trying to get it to Sproles.
Looked like Sproles at the last moment moved right as Stick was about to throw it. So here comes the Jackrabbit offense, as the Bison unable to get anything on that opening drive. C.J. Wilson picking up 4 yards. Aaron Steidel the first to slow him down.
I think as the season goes on and Wilson becomes more comfortable, I think he's going to carry a bigger load of this ground game for the Jackrabbits. He came in at semester last year, kind of a gray shirt, so he was able to work out in the spring, so not totally new as a freshman.
Look at Taryn Christian's numbers, brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. 11 of 19. The touchdown and the 1 pick. Wallace has room. And he slips down at the 48-yard line. Jalen Allison a little bit slow to get up, but good yardage on that run for Wallace. And a first down.
When Johnson used the motion back across, Robbi Grimsley from his safety position sucked all the way down and then stayed when the motion came back to the near side. So when the handoff happened to Wallace and he was able to get right beyond the line of scrimmage, Grimsley, who's generally there in run support, got caught up on the outside. That's why it was able to pick up a first down.
Flags. Christian launching deep again and out of bounds. Marquise Bridges, good coverage that time on Anderson. Legal formation on South Dakota State, so we'll see if the Bison decide to take the penalty.
Legal formation, offense, 5 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, remains second out.
That's Kate Johnson doing the talking, I think.
Just the second penalty of the day on South Dakota State. A look at John Stiglmeyer in his 22nd season won his 150th game at South Dakota State 2 weeks ago against Arkansas Pine Bluff. 1st and 15. Wallace slides down at the 45-yard line, and again it's Robbi Grimsley, James Hendricks, Jabril Cox all trying to get in pursuit. Good gain there of about 12 yards.
Hendricks came off just a little shaken on that play. Took a knee and took his helmet off. He was the second guy there. Cole Karch tried to run him down from behind. There you see Hendricks shaking up a little bit, but I'll bet he comes back.
There's this Delta formation NDSU runs. Now the Jackrabbits put 3 in the backfield. Wilson pushing the pile ahead, and he's got a first down to the 41.
Well, one of the reasons Wilson was such a late, commit and came in at semester break last year, he thought he was going to get some FBS offers and held out for an FBS offer that didn't quite come, which is why he ended up taking what the Jacks had offered a little bit later.
Kristen rolling, and then he'll just throw it out of bounds at the last moment. I know the official might have marked him out of bounds before he threw it. So that might be a loss of 4 or 5 yards.
There's the head linesman is standing right at the 46-yard line. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Again, Christian usually likes to go to his throwing side.
Oh, he was definitely in bounds.
That's an incomplete pass. So if this gets looked at again, I don't know if you can, but I don't believe you can, but it cost the Jacks 5 yards.
Well, the play clock is down to 7, and now there'll be a stoppage.
I think Stig is asking, are you sure? Would you please go ask?
Or maybe asking for a different hash. Because where Christian ran out of bounds, if it is marked out of bounds, it should be marked to the near side.
That's true. They marked the ball as if it was an incomplete pass back at the other hash closest to the Jacks sideline.
On the field is that the quarterback was out of bounds. Please set the play clock to 25 seconds.
And so if you're going to mark him out at the 46, then the ball has to be closer to the NDSU bench.
Well, they should definitely look at this. They're going to wind it up. 25 seconds on the play clock. I don't know if that's reviewable. That one I'm not sure of. That's a break for NDSU, loss of 5. Christian, back shoulder throw to Anderson, who adjusted well and makes the reception inside the 30. Pickup of 18 yards and good enough for a Jackrabbit first down.
That is so difficult for a corner in that particular situation. He has to guard against the play going up the field. He's not able to turn around and see where the ball comes. Anderson knows the ball's coming back. Back shoulder. First down.
Impressive start here for SDSU to start the second half. Bison ready for the handoff that time. Stanley Jones and Jabril Cox combine to make that stop.
Stanley Jones on the tackle. No gain on the play, brings up 2nd and 10.
Jones, the senior, played at Bismarck High School, 5th on the team in tackles. He has 8 career sacks.
Bison bringing pressure. Wilson makes the reception, and then he is tripped up by Jabril Cox after a gain of about 6 yards. 3rd and 4 coming up.
Talk about being able to make a tackle in space. He's about as good as there is in the FCS. Christian's going to dump it off to his right. Wilson has some room to roam, and then watch number 42 close on a kid who's got very good speed. Makes the tackle to force 3rd down.
Christian gonna air it out for Johnson. who stopped. Jabril Cox was there, no flag, incomplete.
When you talk about a guy getting more responsibility put on his plate, we see it every week. Who's the best wide receiver that the Jacks have? Number 15. And look at on an ISO situation, who's guarding him? A linebacker. Usually you say that's a huge advantage to the wide receiver, but Cox again has the athletic gifts in order to make that play and be in good position and force a field goal attempt.
Chase Vinatieri, 39-yard attempt. Down, up, plenty of leg. Wow. And easily through from 39. Chase Vinatieri connects from 39 to get South Dakota State a little bit closer. 14-10, 4:57 to go on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services. Buying, building, or refinancing? Start with a Gate City Bank Blue Standard pre-approval and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Chase Vinatieri boots this one away. Anderson from his own corner will bring it out. Anderson taken down on the play, and again it's Preston Tetzlaff, second special teams tackle, and a flag.
Late flag. Jackson Brown is on the ground, and I think the flag is because of how he got there.
Got drilled at the end there, I believe, by somebody.
During the return, holding, return team, number 23. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
That will go on Jalen Wimbush, the senior. So NDSU will be backed up to about its own 10-yard line when we come back. 4:43 to go here in quarter number 3. Whether you're building, buying, or refinancing, Gate City Bank home loans are locally approved, financed, and serviced. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. NDSU backed up to its own 10. Inside handoff, Ty Brooks can't spin away as the Jackrabbits play that play well, and that's Rosenbaum making the stop after a gain of 2.
Ryan Erith was dangerously close, I think, to getting a roughing call. He stayed with Easton Stick and hit him after the handoff. Obviously, once he finds out where the ball goes, but he threw Stick to the ground right in front of our head referee, but no flag. Real close, though, I thought.
Dunn. Room to the outside for Lance Dunn, who is finally cut down by Rosenbaum, but a big gain for the senior out of Waterloo up to the 29-yard line.
Again, a beautiful job by the center, Tanner Volson, on that play. Volson snaps it, pulls, and is able to seal the outside. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Watch Tanner get to the outside. Here comes the safety Slade, who jumps inside, but again, Volson smashes him in, frees up a little more room to roam on the outside. That's a play where the safety has to try to come up in run support, and Volson helped take him out.
Gain of 17 for Dunn to get the Bison in a little better spot here. First down. Brooks. Nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is all. Rosenbaum again. And Elijah Wilson also in there from his defensive tackle spot. And Wilson's an interesting guy, LT. Has not played a lot so far this season to some injury.
Yeah, he was hurt in fall camp, and in fact, he was not cleared until Thursday, I believe, of this week. He's a young kid they like. He's a sophomore out of Omaha. South Dakota State has really done a good job in Nebraska in terms of getting kids to come up north. I think they have 18 players on their roster from Nebraska.
Stick play action. High across the middle and over Ben Ellefson, his intended target. Incomplete, and the Jacks dodging a bullet there. Let's go to Ryan Gellner for a First International Bank and Trust sideline report. Ryan.
Hey guys, just a scoreboard update from the Missouri Valley. Missouri State leads Illinois State by a field goal, 17-14, as they enter the fourth quarter. And Western Illinois continues to hold on against Youngstown State. Western leads 16-7, guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Meanwhile here, North Dakota State with a 3rd and 10 at the 29. Boy, that was a tight window to throw in. Backus with good coverage. Jensen, the intended target, incomplete.
I don't even know if the window was open. Zach Mosley, who has a couple of interceptions, was back in there too. There were 3 Jackrabbit players right around the ball.
So Garrett Wegner will boot it away. Marshawn Harris back deep for South Dakota State. Jack's coming after it. Wegner, high end over end, and Harris putting on a move and some room to the outside, but the Bison close quickly. Special teams tackle is
Wimbush.
Made on the plays by Jalen Wimbush, who was slow to get up. And we'll step aside again. South Dakota State with the football, pretty good field position, trailing by 4. South Dakota State set up on its own 39-yard line, trailing by 4. Just over 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Christian again will throw. And looks like some miscommunication, or didn't like the coverage. He just threw it out of bounds, incomplete.
I believe that was an outstanding job by number 21. That's what that was. That was Jalen Ellison hooked up one-on-one against Anderson. And that was where your corner owned Anderson right from the get-go. He was trying to establish, he meaning the receiver, something outside. Allison did not give up outside leverage. No chance on that pass. That was a great job by 21. Here's a new look.
4 receivers all bunched up on the bottom of your screen here on 2nd and long. Now Wallace into the backfield. He's going to get the carry, and he's got room. Isaac Wallace, a foot race down the sideline. He's still in bounds. Isaac Wallace, touchdown, Jackrabbits.
Jackrabbits spread the Bison out to run the football. Wallace goes back into the backfield. Nodak Insurance Company replay. This is after the motion. A little run pass option, a little RPO, zone read type of deal. The handoff. You beat Grimsley to the outside. Robbi was the only one that actually had a chance to make the tackle. He did not. Jackrabbits have the lead.
61 yards on the touchdown run for Wallace, who's now got 100 rushing yards on the day. Vinatieri, the extra point. And South Dakota State, in just 16 seconds on that drive, takes the lead back 17-14. Let's take a look at your North Dakota Soybean Council's fun fact. Over the last 30 years, soybean farmers embraced new techniques that allowed them to use 40% less land. That brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council. Well, the momentum has clearly shifted here, LT, in favor of South Dakota State.
Well, anytime you can pop a big play, that'll do it. This place is quiet right now. The pre-snap look was really interesting with a 4-receiver bunch formation to the near side. Wallace goes back to the inside to the middle. There still was another 2 receivers on the high side, so it was a 5 wide out look. Spread them out to run.
Bruce Anderson back deep once again. Vinatieri, another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. Anderson dropping the kickoff, and now he'll just get what he can. Pushing the pile ahead to the 20-yard line. 7 Wilson at the bottom of that tackle, along with Don Gardner.
First and 10 for the Bison on their own 20.
We'll see if the Bison offense has an answer here at the end of the 3rd quarter. Stick throwing downfield, and the reception is made again by Shepard, who's having a big day, and North Dakota State picks up 28 yards up to the 48-yard line.
Boy, after the catch, you saw Shepard's neck just kind of snap back. Nodak Insurance Company replay, that's because Harris had a big hit to the backside. Super job of able to stay connected with that football after it hit his hands.
Play action again. Stick's going to air it out again. One-on-one coverage. The man deep is Dallas Freeman, and a flag comes in. Marshawn Harris, the one in coverage. 3 flags actually come in.
Freeman had him beat deep, and when he tried to slow down a little bit to try to make an adjustment on the ball, Harris actually does, I think, the right thing, and that's just keep running through the receiver. There's also another flag back at the line of scrimmage on this, but yeah, Harris just, I think, does the right thing there to try to not prevent a catch at all.
So now the question is this offsetting, or will this advance the ball inside Jackrabbit territory?
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding, offense, number 71. Pass interference, defense, number 18. Those fouls offset. Repeat, first down.
Holding on Luke Bacon. Senior guard. And we'll do it over again. Room to roam. Ty Brooks inside Jackrabbit territory, cut down by Jordan Brown after a gain of 13.
You could hear the block that Ben Ellison threw on that play. Boom, he takes out Kleinschmidt, the linebacker.
Here he comes.
82, see ya, 31. Brooks is able to bounce it out and get the first down.
Stick to throw. And he is taken down. Second sack of the afternoon for South Dakota State. And I think that was Erith again getting in there.
Yeah, but Krolikowski's the one that messes it up in terms of the Bison pocket. He's the first man there. Stick has to try to move around the nose tackle, and it puts him right into the path of the defensive end.
Bobcat scoring a recap for South Dakota State. Again, just 16 seconds, the 61-yard run from Isaac Wallace as we are under 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter. And another flag. Or a stoppage.
Came from the back judge. Was it a delay? Oh, it couldn't have been a delay because we don't know how much time was on the play clock, because the play clock did not roll, I don't think.
Well, it didn't roll, LT, because we were under 30 seconds to go in the half.
It's true, you don't need it in the third. Yeah, end of the third.
So that may be an inadvertent whistle, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, right now I think the back judge is talking to the white hat going, yeah, oops, my bad. Coach Kleiman just wants to get this thing rolling.
The play clock did not run the previous play, but the game clock, was at 39 seconds. We'll have 3 seconds on the clock. The clock will start on the snap.
So they will run a play here regardless. I'm surprised they're not just going to let the clock run out. It should be North Dakota State's decision if they want to let the clock go, right, LT?
At Coach Kleiman's like, why is the clock not moving? I think he should be able to start it. Nope, they're going to. Nope, the inadvertent whistle stops everything, halts it at 3, and the Bison will have to run a play.
Stick. Dallas Freeman open on the sideline. He's got a first down inside the 20-yard line. Jordan Brown on another tackle, but the Bison pick up a big gain to end the third quarter.
Those two connect in the soft zone, the zone between the safety and the corner. First down Bison as we head to the fourth.
Final 15 coming up from here in Fargo. 17-14. South Dakota State leads it after 3 quarters at the Dome. First and 10, North Dakota State from the Jackrabbit 18-yard line here to start the fourth quarter. Here comes Anderson across the formation. Inside handoff to Lance Dunn. Tiptoes through a hole, picks up 4 yards to the 14. Rosaboom and Krolikowski there to make the tackle for South Dakota State.
That's a different look for North Dakota State, putting Anderson in the slot, starting him there. He has not been there much this year. It's something the Bison thought they would experiment a little bit with. Brought him across on the jet sweep, or the jet look, and found some room inside. Bison have not attacked inside a whole bunch today.
Anderson to the outside. Picking up a first down. Brandon Snyder may have saved a touchdown as the Bison will be set up first and goal at the 7.
Nice job by Brock Robbins on a lead. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Watch the fullback. He's going to get a pretty good hit on the outside on Snyder, and that was Rosaboom who made the tackle. All important first down though for NDSU.
Quarterback run for Stick. Austin Smenda, among others, there to turn that thing back. Christian Rosenbaum got in there as well after a pickup of about 2.
Spenda's been really solid down the line. You see him bouncing off the block from the tight end. He's able to create a little space with his hands and able to keep his body moving and sliding to the outside. He did not get turned.
Anderson will split out. Brock Robbins. As the Bison will attempt another quarterback run. Stick, room, touchdown.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Easton Stick knows he's going to keep this one. He looks straight to his left. What is number 34 going to do in front of me? Robbins tries to create a little space to the outside, a seam to the middle. Stick sees it. Bison back in front.
Peterson adds the extra point. And back in fourth we go here in Fargo. 13 minutes left. NDSU 21, South Dakota State 17. As Easton Stick takes it in from 5 yards out. Easton Stick, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Show your Bison pride today with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC. Cam Peterson, CJ Wilson back, and he will take a knee. 3 yards deep. Peterson farm seat kickoff.
Let's go back to the touchdown run by Easton Stick and show you a couple of key plays. Luke Bacon here is able to take care of the nose, freeing up Tanner Volson to go get the safety, and then Ben Ellefson is able to get a chip on the linebacker, and then Stick is able to get enough space to go in. But the free release by the center, that makes a big difference.
Brock Robbins didn't have anybody to block, LT.
Nope, because Ellefson and Volson cleaned it up for him. Super job up front to get the touchdown.
Seesaw battle here in Fargo.
Look good.
Christian's going to keep it. Puts his head down and picks up a first down. Gains 13 yards to the 38. Let's take a look at your Bobcat scoring recap. 8 plays, 80 yards in just under 4 minutes as Easton Stick takes it in.
That was an impressive drive after the quick strike that the Jackrabbits got on the long run, the 61-yard touchdown run.
Christian, time in the pocket, dumps it off to his tight end, Callan Hart, who juggled it, and he's going to be a yard short of a first down to the 47.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Hart really doesn't have anything to do on this play except chip Menard and then go to become the safety valve. Christian used it.
Wallace has a first down to midfield. Isaac Wallace now 6 carries, 103 yards. Of course, 61 of them on that touchdown run on the Jackrabbits' last drive.
His goal is to get into med school someday. He's a human biology major.
He's also huge into music. Actually would like to go to California and try to mix and produce music at some point if he can. Originally from Omaha. Christian, another nice pocket. Oh, another beautiful catch by Anderson. Pretty good coverage from North Dakota State, but the Jackrabbits in business to the Bison 30. Gain of 20.
Bridges had position, but he didn't know the ball was coming, and it zips right over his head. That's an instance where Christian just kind of threw his receiver open.
Little up tempo here for the Jacks, and Wallace tripped up by Karch after a gain of a couple. Wilson and Mikey Daniel both in the backfield here on 2nd and 8. Play action again. Christian to Wilson, who caught it but fell down, passed behind him a little bit, and he lost 3 yards. So 3rd and 11 coming up.
SDSU trying again to get Wilson out in some space on the flat. Jabril Cox was right there if Wilson would have stayed on his feet, but they like the big playability that Wilson has, but pass was a poor one.
James Hendricks will come on as an extra defensive back here as the Bison will play nickel. Screen. Daniel. Nowhere. Well read on that play by Dan Marlette, the South Dakota native. No gain. So here comes Vinatieri for a long field goal. Will be about a 49-yard attempt.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Being in the nickel helps Marlette be able to stay aggressive to the ball. Well, as soon as he squared his shoulders up, saw the ball come out, he was attacking that, but the Bison played a 2-deep safety. The extra nickel guy, there wasn't a big worry about anything deep, and Marlette was able to get out into space and make the tackle.
An extra lineman comes on for South Dakota State. 48 yards on this attempt. It is no good. Wide right. Vinatieri cannot connect. And the Bison maintain a 4-point lead and will have the football when we come back. 9:15 left. Don't go anywhere. Chase Vinatieri misses from 48, and North Dakota State set up on its own 31-yard line. Ty Brooks in the backfield here on 1st and 10. Brooks getting the carry. Brooks slipping out of a couple of tackles and getting back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it.
Boy, did Rosenbaum read that one well. I think he was the guy that shot through the gap. The Bison trying to get the center, double pull from the backside. And the All-American read it before the play could develop.
Yeah, Brooks may have actually lost a yard on that play, so 2nd and 11. Shepard motions. Stick across the middle again, where Shepard has been open all day long and off his fingertips and then off the fingertips of Josh Manchagaya.
And he got blasted by Rosaboom. That's Shepard still down. Right in the middle of the chest, he got smoked. I don't think it was a helmet. I don't think there's targeting. I think it was a shoulder. Nodak Insurance Company replay.
Nope, I don't think it was helmet to helmet.
No helmet to helmet. Didn't lead with the helmet or the crown of the helmet.
I have lost the wind. Hopefully Darius is okay. I'll probably go under the concussion protocol to make sure he's all right. Meanwhile, 3rd and 11. Here's a look at Easton Stick.
Just when NDSU catches a little break with the missed field goal, you think that the Bison obviously want to come out here, establish some things offensively, get a little drive going, and they'll need something here a little special on 3rd down.
Screen. Bison have some blockers in front. Can Anderson get there? I think he did. Great effort by Anderson reaching across the 41-yard line, and enough for Bruce to get a 1st down.
This appeared to me to be just more of Bruce Anderson wanting the 1st down more than Jordan Brown wanted to try and stop it. Nodak Insurance Company replay. I believe it's number 9 who's going to be the first point of contact. Yep. Anderson got the 5 yards after contact.
And Manchagaya was really the one that wrapped him up. Jordan just kind of threw a shoulder into him. So NDSU converts a big 3rd down to stay on the field. And up the middle. Dunn gaining 4.
I actually like seeing NDSU working a little bit here in the middle.
Lance Dunn,
Shepard, sorry, Brian, but Shepard has got the helmet strapped on, looking to maybe return to the game.
Dunn, 10 carries, 52 yards on the day. The Bison overall, 193 rush yards. Anderson again, trying to get outside. Was able to get out of the tackle from Rosaboom, and then taken down by Backus for no gain.
Coach Stig is upset over something. Here's again on the Nodak Insurance Company replay. The inside handoff. It goes to Anderson, but Rosaboom so quick. Was his knee down? He wasn't down. They called it dead. There's nothing you can do about it after that. The play stops because the whistle came out, but he was not down. Stig's got the Hobo Day beard going. That's tradition in Brookings to start growing a beard 30 days before Hobo Day. NDSU's going to need a timeout. 2 seconds on the play clock.
First timeout taken by either team here in the 2nd half, and a 3rd and 6 upcoming. The Bison 6 of 12 on 3rd down today. South Dakota State 3 of 11. And the numbers are incredibly even. Almost hard to believe how even they are. NDSU 371 total yards. The Jacks 353. SDSU has run 53 plays. The Bison 57. Time of possession, NDSU 29 minutes. South Dakota State just over 24.
And that was a massive Jackrabbit lead after the 1st quarter. NDSU was almost 10 minutes behind after the 1st quarter in time of possession. Bison pulled it off last time they had 3rd down. They'll need to do it again.
See what Courtney Messingham dials up here on 3rd and 6. Stick under pressure, and he's thrown to the turf back at the 39-yard line. Krolikowski with the sack.
There were guys coming from the outside. Krolikowski ends up being the first guy there to the inside.
So South Dakota State comes up with a stop defensively. And Garrett Wegner back out to punt.
And punt formation number 38, Garrett Wegner.
Nice high, deep punt. Harris driven inside his own 10-yard line. Nowhere to go. Another great special teams tackle. This time it's Michael Tutsi, the redshirt freshman from Indianapolis. We step aside. SDSU backed up to its own 7. 5:41 to go. Bison lead by 4. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank home loans are locally approved, financed, and serviced. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. 1st and 10 for the Jacks. The Dome has come to life here in the 4th quarter. Inside handoff. Again, it's Wallace, who has a lion's share of the carries today, and he gains 5 to the 12. Eli Jordan, Robbi Grimsley, there to take him down.
Kodak Insurance Company replay. I thought Weir, number 70, did a pretty good job on the smashing the play side end inside to help open up about a 5-yard carry.
Robbi Grimsley stopping Wallace in his tracks. No gain. 3rd down coming up.
Stop by number 5, Robbi Grimsley.
Grimsley makes it work here. There's been a couple of plays where he's been just a tad out of position. Kodak Insurance Company replay is a field level ISO of what number 5 sees. Getting inside, keeping his pad level square, and forcing a 3rd down. That's a strong safety making a strong play in the run game.
Getting loud in here now. Only 3 3rd down conversions today for the Jacks. This is a big one here.
Nickel defense again.
Bison bring pressure, dumped off in the flat, caught by Daniel, but right there to make the tackle is Marlette. The South Dakota native slows down Wallace, and here comes the punting team.
Matt Entz influences that play a little bit because he brings Jabril Cox on a wide blitz. So the hot read from the quarterback is to go where the blitzer came. That means you're really counting on Marlette to make sure you can make an open field tackle. Marlette got there. Here comes the punt.
Bison keep their starting defensive unit on the field here just to make sure there's no trickery. Hale sends it deep. Grimsley under it. Makes the fair catch at the 45, 3:32 to go.
Well, you go back to the punt, actually. How big was the punt inside the 10? Huge now. The Bison are at midfield.
When we talk about special teams, South Dakota State really prides itself on it. NDSU has been excellent in coverage today, and Michael Tutsi's tackle back at the 7 and Marshawn Harris was huge. We'll see if the Bison can string together a couple of 1st downs here and put the pressure on the Jacks late in the ball game. Outside run to Anderson again. Rosaboom meet him in the hole, and Bruce gets what he can. Gains a couple.
Well, there was a great battle between the linebacker, Backus, and the tight end, Ellison, on that play. Ben had him drilled into the ground and really came after him hard. That's been a fun battle all day.
Stoppage in play here. I'm not sure why. Only 1 second ran off the clock. Pretty sure that play lasted longer than a second. Right? 3:32?
I thought so.
South Dakota State, did they take a timeout there? I don't think so.
I don't think. Well, 3:32 left. Now the clock goes back to 3:32 to where it was before the snap.
The game clock never started after the punt. Please set the game clock to 3:26. Play clock will be at 25 seconds. Clock will start on my ready.
There's been a couple of weird things that have happened today.
And again, when the clock first stopped, I'm like, this would be a kind of a strange place for Stig to take a timeout. But he didn't. Now it'll roll.
Bison break the huddle with 12. Stig's going to keep it. Try to work off a block from the outside. Gets to midfield. Gains about 4 yards. Rosaboom, Dalton Cox over there.
Brandon Snyder as well. I think NDSU was hoping that someone could get to the second level and take care of Snyder. That did not happen. The safety was down in the run game.
You want to talk about a big third down. You got one right here. 3rd and 5. South Dakota State hanging on to their timeouts.
2.5 minutes to go and moving.
Stig eluding the rush again. He's going to take off and run, and he's got the first down to the 43-yard line before Rosaboom makes the tackle. And the Bison get a big one from their senior quarterback as Krolikowski comes off. I think Stig feeling the effects of that hit from Rosaboom as well.
Well, you called it before it happened as a big third down play. Nodak Insurance Company replay will stay on Stig. Looking downfield, sidesteps one guy, that little pump fake, tries to get Rosaboom thinking he's going to throw it. He doesn't, but a first down. Huge, huge first down pickup on the ground by Easton Stick.
Clock continues to run now, 1:45. Rosaboom stopping Dunn in his tracks, no gain. First time out taken by the Jacks.
You saw the back end of that once Rosaboom was first guy there and he knew he had some help. Of course, what do? You try to get the ball out of there. That's one thing I think NDSU's running backs over the years, at least recently, have done a very good job in ball strip situations to not give it up.
Chris Kleiman. Hoping his team can close this thing out here. The Bison 67-6 at home in the last 73 games. One of those losses to South Dakota State back here in the closing seconds of 2016. One turnover each quarterback with an interception.
Yeah, it's borderline crazy when you take a look at Coach Kleiman and what his teams have done in his 5 years. They're 57-6. There's that rock that the Bison are trying to win back. It's been in Brookings the last 2 years.
Dunn across the 40, 4 yards to the 39, and another timeout quickly taken by the Jackrabbits. Let's go to Ryan Gellner.
Hey guys, just an update from the Missouri Valley football scoreboard. Missouri State leads Illinois State 24-21, and actually, as we speak, that game has just gone final. The Bears with a big home win there. And how about Western Illinois? Late in the third quarter, they've stretched their lead over Youngstown State to 29-10. One game still to come. It's South Dakota at Southern Illinois. Fellas?
Youngstown, a tough team to figure out. And how about Dave Steckel's Missouri State Bears? Knocking off a previously unbeaten top 10 team in Illinois State.
Is this the conference opening weekend, or did we walk into the twilight zone?
Well, the Redbirds got nothing going offensively after an impressive performance at Colorado State last weekend. Another big third down. The Bison can pretty much seal it if they can reach the 33 here on 3rd and 6. Stick gonna keep it again to the outside. He's got some room. Stick out of bounds at the 31. First down, NDSU.
Remember earlier when Bruce Anderson picked up that first down by putting his shoulder down and running right through Jordan Brown? Watch how soft the corner plays the back end of this. Number 9, Brown, gets a little hesitation. He can't close out on stick. Once Easton makes that little move right there, Brown gets faked out of his shoes, gives up a first down, and the Bison had an opportunity to seal it.
Anderson will keep it, drag a couple of jackrabbits across the 25, hangs tightly onto that football to the 24. And the last time out taken by the Jacks with 1:22. And NDSU can pretty much take this thing down to the gun now.
About 5 or 6 minutes ago, I kind of had a feel that there was going to be one big, impactful play yet to be made. But it's the little plays to get the first downs and keep that offense out there that is going to seal this thing for NDSU.
Well, if NDSU can hang on to this victory, the Bison will move to 61-42-5 all time to lead the series and 9-6 in the D1 era. And more importantly, to take down the 3 feet high, 78-pound Rock.
Yep.
Victory formation for North Dakota State. Stick will take his time. Roseboom tries to come in. Luke Bacon makes sure he doesn't.
Well, that's because Stick took 2 steps back before he put the knee down on there, so there was no early whistle. And Luke Bacon was just making sure that Roseboom stayed on his side of the ball. Of course, we're playing for that rock today, but these teams in the Division I era have played in the playoffs, and they have been some really good games there too. But NDSU has won all 3 of those playoff meetings. We are a long way to go before we get to that again, but these 2 teams did meet in 16, 14, and in 12 in the postseason.
Stick will take an E, and that will do it. North Dakota State, hard-fought game with the Jacks. The Bison will take back the rock for the first time since 2015. And Dallas Goddard will find an NDSU shirt of some sort hanging in his locker on Monday. Fun football game. 2 excellent teams. This bill is a top 5 matchup, and it was.
I thought the Jackrabbits in the second half held up to what I thought NDSU was able to establish physically in that second quarter. Bison pick up that win. Some key third down pickups in this game.
NDSU 8 of 16 overall, and Ryan Gellner is standing by with the victorious coach, Chris Kleiman.
2 pretty good football teams going at it. Chris, you come out on top.
Yeah, it was back and forth like we thought it would be. Guys had resolve in the fourth quarter. Good football team. We made a few plays late, and shoot, we're 1-0 in the league, and we got to move on.
A lot of resolve. I thought your kids really kept their heads, did the little things that maybe you won't show up on paper, but you'll see in tape.
Oh, absolutely. We played so friggin' hard. Our preparation was what was key for this week. We prepared so well, and the kids came out there and played their tails off. So did South Dakota State. It was a good football game.
You get the rock back. Congratulations.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Guys, Chris Kleiman.
Thank you much, Ryan. Momentum swings each way. South Dakota State controlling the first and third quarter. North Dakota State controlling the second and fourth quarter. And it's the Bison coming out on top, 21-17 to move to 4-0 on the season and 1-0 in the Missouri Valley Conference. We're back in a moment here at the Fargo Dome. As Easton Stick gets it done, bringing the rock home to Fargo. Back at the Fargo Dome, 21-17 your final score. Players taking their turns carrying the rock, the Dakota Marker Trophy. And SDSU has won the 2 previous seasons. The Bison snapping a 2-game skid in the regular season here this afternoon. Thanks very much for joining us. 21-17, the final. Fun football game. Momentum swings both ways. I think you saw 2 teams that are certainly going to be at the top of the standings here when it's all said and done.
I think so too, and one of the things I think is interesting as the week builds up to this particular game, and the players who are in uniform now will say exactly what the players who are in uniform are supposed to. But the guys who recently graduated and did not win the Dakota Marker were up front with how important it was, how much it meant to them, and how much the current players on the team that they talk to understand the meaning of it. They just won't say it publicly, but this is a big win for NDSU, not only for the team this year, beating the team they played, but to get a little back for the guys that just recently graduated.
Well, credit to South Dakota State. The Jacks started fast, had an opportunity to go up 2 scores. The interception really turned the tide. NDSU got back into the game, had a 1-touchdown lead. Let's take a look at your final stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. We talked about it a little bit in the 4th quarter, LT, but remarkable how even these stats were across the board.
Really close. Obviously, the score would indicate that as well. The rushing yards, I honestly thought the Bison would be able to run the ball a little bit better than they did today. That's not to say you won't take 200 yards in a particular game. One thing we don't see on there, which I think is an interesting stat, if I remember at halftime, the 2 teams each had 9 first downs. So in the second half, and especially in the 4th quarter, this last drive when the Bison put it away, NDSU had 12 first downs in the second half, while the Jackrabbits had 7. So that difference in those 5 opportunities to get a fresh set of downs, keep your offense out there, helps you gain the yards you see there, the time of possession you see there, and also to preserve that 4-point lead and turn it into a 4-point win.
Taryn Christian had 45 of those rush yards. The other lion's share of it obviously was the 61 on the 1 run from Isaac Wallace, who was really the featured back today. But really, especially in the second half, the Jacks never really got a consistent passing game going, never really got in rhythm. The first drive or 2 they did, but after the miss from Vinatieri, never really sniffed another opportunity at scoring.
And down the field things that we thought that South Dakota State would go for maybe a little bit more today, they couldn't do it. Some of that pass rush takes that away. I really like the play that Dan Marlette made in the flat on a 3rd down play, because Jabril Cox came in there on a blitz. You hot read it. You're trusting Marlette to make that tackle. He did after the nice play by Tutsi on the punt. Jacks have to give it back over, and again the Bison are able to help secure the lead because of plays like that, because Christian didn't have enough time to get downfield. In the second half, we didn't see him scrambling a whole lot either, and when he scrambles, somebody has more time to get open. So even though it wasn't a bunch of huge sacks, the Bison defensive line did enough to try to contain Christian to not let him go crazy.
Fun football game. We'll step aside and be back with more here at the Fargo Dome. NDSU celebrating a 21-17 victory. Back with a look at your offensive highlights after this. Back here at the Fargo Dome. The Bison faithful and those that made the trek up north from South Dakota are heading on their way home. One team celebrating, one team not celebrating so much. 21-17 your final score. Brian Sean Lee Zimmerman with you. And LT, offensively, we saw both teams make some fantastic plays in the passing game. A lot of explosive plays on both sides.
There were a lot of explosive plays, and these 2 defenses are trying so hard to get to that quarterback. Sometimes you open yourself up a little bit, but some things we really saw that I liked was, Darius Shepard made some contested catches, and that helped make things. But here, right off the bat in that first quarter, that first quarter was owned by the team out there in the white. That's Taryn Christian and his crew. He got things rolling early on.
Found Cade Johnson early, was able to slip out of a couple of tackles. Did not run as much in the second half as you mentioned, and then Cade Johnson on a nice block from Anderson with a touchdown reception. Only 3 catches for Johnson today.
Key play of the game right here. Very poor pass from Christian. He tried to go over the middle to Brown, and as I think you said at the time, it looked like Allison baited him just a little bit. Jalen was able to pick it off, and the Jacks think they're going up by 14, and then the Bison are able to tie it up.
Yeah, the Bison certainly took shots downfield. We're not shy about it. Darius Shepard was really the big play guy. In the first half in particular, this was key, LT. A 22-yard scramble on 3rd and 21.
That helped set this up. The play action fake. Ellison gets behind the safety. Touchdown. Bison have it tied.
Second half, Isaac Wallace scampers 61 yards. And all of a sudden, SDSU on a 10-point swing take the lead.
So at this point, the Jackrabbits have the lead. Obviously, the Bison need to come back and do some things offensively. And here's Shepard making a really nice catch. Look at the way his head snapped back. He got blasted on that play.
Took a couple of big shots, one from Rosaboom late in the game as well. Ty Brooks running free. Dallas Freeman only one reception today, but it was a big one at the end of the 3rd quarter.
And it helped. It's a zone defense. He and Stick on the same page, and here's the touchdown again that gives the Bison the lead on a quarterback run.
5th rushing touchdown for Easton Stick this season, and that ended up being the game-winning score. Fun football game, back and forth the whole way. There were some defensive highlights as well. Each team trying to get after the quarterback, make plays, got some momentum swings. It was enjoyable all the way around. I thought both teams played really well at times.
It was, and to be honest, it was a little closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought in the second half NDSU might be able to extend it, maybe pick up an extra touchdown. It didn't happen. It's a 4-point win. It doesn't matter. All you need is one more, and the Bison have the edge with a big win to open up the conference against their arch rival.
And for North Dakota State, an important win at home to start Valley play because the Bison will be on the road the next 2 weeks at Northern Iowa. We always know how tough it is going there.
Yes,
and then Western Illinois before coming back home here to play Illinois State on October 20th. We'll step aside one more time and be back with our Nodak Insurance Company player of the game at the Fargo Dome. Back here at the Dome, 21-17, your final. Momentum swings both ways, and the Dakota marker going to North Dakota State. The Bison now lead the overall series in the Division I area, 9-6, with the Jackrabbits winning the previous 2 matchups in 2016 here and then 2017 down in Brookings. Defense, we knew it was going to be key for both teams to try to get the opposing offenses off the field and not try to establish too much. And at times, I think both defenses had success, but ultimately, I think NDSU made a few more plays, especially on 3rd down.
Yes, in the second half, 3rd down was pretty strong, I thought, from the Bison defense, and of course the interception. I know we saw it in our offensive highlights. We'll probably see it in our defensive package that we have coming up, but that was such a big swing in this particular game. I thought Dan Marlette flowed fairly well. Jabril Cox, we become so used to him making tackles in space.
And Taryn Christian, such a threat to run, and he's really hurt the Bison with his legs in the past. Not so much today. And boy, there was Greg Menard taking a shot at number 3.
That hit, I think, took Taryn Christian a little off his game, and not out of the game, but off his game a little bit.
Blake Williams also with a sack. Each quarterback sacked a few times today. There was some pressure. I thought South Dakota State did a better job of pass protection in the second half, but the Bison did enough, I think, to make him uncomfortable in the pocket.
And again, the goal wasn't to try to sack Taryn Christian as much as possible, because Coach Entz didn't want to expose himself quite that hard with all that blitzing. He didn't do it. In the second half, I thought the 4 down linemen really started to establish some things and didn't let Christian roam.
Let's take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference scoreboard. Certainly some surprises today. I think the biggest one is Illinois State, a top 10 team, going down to Missouri State. The Redbirds had 0 points going into the half, and Dave Steckel's bunch now 3-1 with an FBS loss.
Yeah, that's, well, good for them. If there was one in the conference you didn't see coming, I didn't see that particularly coming. Could have been one of those hangover games, of course, because the Redbirds did pick up their FBS win. But in the end, as Coach Kleiman always says, it's what you do in the conference really that matters.
Youngstown State trying to rally with the ball inside Western Illinois territory.
There's a lot of time left. Quarter. A lot of time left in that game
about
too,
14 minutes left. Yeah, let's go to our Nodak Insurance Company player of the game, who is standing by with Ryan Gellner. Some big catches today.
Yeah, he sure did, guys. 5 of them for 118 yards, a career high, a touchdown. Darius Shepard, anytime they needed a big play, D, it was up to you.
That's what we try and do in the receiver room. When our number's called, just make plays, help the team win games. So.
Seemed like when you wanted to get them, it was over the middle where they were a little bit softer. At least those were where you were catching the balls at. The middle was open today.
Yeah, watching film, we had some plays that we thought we could get on them, and it worked out. The O-line did an excellent job blocking, and Easton did a great job getting the ball out. So.
This team has great resolve. The numbers are not gaudy, but the biggest number is the win. It's a big one today.
Yeah, that's all we're focused on. Just going 1-0 each week, and it's a great feeling to have the Rock back in Fargo.
Yeah, that Rock back in Fargo, I know it means a lot to the guys that are from North Dakota and South Dakota, but really that is a big deal inside the locker room.
Yeah, it means a ton to us. You know, Bison pride, tradition, the guys that played before us, we just want to get that Rock back and keep it here. So it's an awesome win today.
It is, Chris called it earlier in the week, 8 one-week seasons now. You got week number 1 out of the way, but this conference haul, it's a long ways, and you guys need to continue to play well.
Yes, sir. You know, we're back on the road next week, but the fans did an awesome job the first 4 weeks, keeping us motivated and you know, firing us up on the field. So we're looking forward to getting on the road and taking our next opponent.
Congratulations, Darius, the Nodak Insurance Player of the Game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And boy, feel good for Darius. He took some shots across the middle, was able to hang on to the football in crunch time, and the Bison needed some of those big explosive plays just to flip the field a little bit for field position.
Yeah, and it was, you could tell. I mean, we were given a little bit of a hint from some of the coaching staff that the Bison wanted to go downfield with some vertical routes, some of those things that Darius caught, and we just showed you. And again, that you got to connect on them every once in a while as well. If you don't connect on some of those deep plays, you're 3 and out, you're punting, you're giving the ball back. So yeah, when you can make something happen downfield that stretches that defense, and I thought NDSU did a really good job of trying to get some one-on-one situations, in particularly against a couple of the safeties that SDSU had in situations, and made it work. Those were a couple of those long passes that connected.
And what a way to get conference play started with this matchup. And now NDSU will go on the road 3 of the next 4 weeks. And the Bison, again, have really been lucky and fortunate here in the month of September. They have not had to go anywhere, but I think the grind will begin starting in October.
And I guess there's one thing we should tell people, too, that if you didn't see next week's opponent on our scoreboard, that is because that was a Thursday game that the Panthers won easily against Indiana State. So that's where we will head next. We will head to Cedar Falls for the game on October 6th. That is an early start, so it's a 1 o'clock start down at UNI, but UNI did win. The reason there was not a scoreboard today is because the Panthers did play a Thursday game.
That was a unique situation. UNI playing on a short week after a home win against Hampton, but Indiana State had a bye the week before, so it worked out for both programs. Well, not a ton of South Dakota natives on this NDSU roster, but one of them is standing by with Ryan Gellner, and he's a happy guy. That's Dan Marlette.
Yeah, for a kid that grew up in Sioux Falls, this feels pretty good, I imagine.
Oh, it feels incredible, especially not being able to play last year. And then coming out with the group of guys we have, the number of seniors we have, it's just even more special.
This defense did a nice job today. Taryn Christian is known to throw the football over the place. He can run the football over the place. For the most part, kept him in check today.
Yeah, first quarter they threw some weird stuff at pretty well. That long touchdown run, they just schemed up a pretty good run on us. And you know, Taryn's always a threat on the outside.
South Dakota State was 3 of 12 on third down conversions today, including a big one at the end where you made a heck of a play to make a stop and keep your team on the good side of the scoreboard.
It was just a play they ran before, and I recognized it right away, and you know, just tried to make a play.
From here, your football team goes on the road. A lot of home games stacked up together. Now you go on the road. Any difference at all?
No. We treat every Missouri Valley team the same, and it's even better that we have SDSU first, because we really set that bar high for every Missouri Valley team and how we should practice.
That Dakota marker is back in Fargo. It's back in North Dakota. Congratulations.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Guys upstairs.
I think Dan's family probably okay with that too. A bunch of coyotes probably would rather see NDSU win over their rivals from Brookings.
Yeah, if you don't know, Dan's father and brother played for USD, so there's an internal dislike already for the Jackrabbits. So this is a special day for the Marlette family to take the Rock back and beat the Jacks.
That'll do it for us here at the Fargo Dome. Thanks so much for joining us all afternoon long. Fun football game. Great way to start Missouri Valley Conference play. North Dakota State is 4-0, 1-0 in the Valley. We'll see you next week at Northern Iowa. 1 o'clock kickoff, 12 o'clock pregame. For Lee Timmerman, Ryan Gellner, Alex Egan, and Beth Hool, I'm Brian Shawn. So long from the Fargo Dome. We'll see you next Saturday in Cedar Falls.